this video I wanted to share how much does it cost to travel around Europe at the moment, considering the problems in the Middle East, the prices of the petrol, and in general all prices. At the moment I'm in Bosnia, just came from Serbian side, and I have some numbers to share, but before I go to the numbers, let me enjoy this beautiful moment with you guys, because if you haven't been in this part of Serbia or Bosnia, which is the south part of these countries, it is very interesting, a little bit wild, if you understand what I mean. It's not the typical part of the country. There are many small roads like this that actually crossing the mountain that you can enjoy riding. That might include some kind of gravel section as well, but nothing so bad to worry about. Anyway, the prices. I used to travel with 50 euros per day for everything around Europe. Unfortunately, this is not possible anymore. Now the price, as you know, rose a bit I would say, because it is not that bad, but you can still make it with a normal budget, I would say. So for example, yesterday I started from Bulgaria, crossed the whole Bulgaria, and stopped in the middle of Serbia. This basically means around 600 and something kilometers. I slept in a hostel, but I had a private room, and the total price of the day, all the money that I spent for yesterday, considering this mileage, was around 80 euros. I had 2 petrol tanks, 20 euros each. The guest house cost 17 euros, 17, very cheap, the hostel actually. And I spent a little bit money for food, actually exactly 10 euros. For 10 euros I bought products from the supermarket. I had a wonderful dinner, and with the same products I've got breakfast today. So altogether 80 euros, without sleeping in the tent, without trying to save money for everything. On the road I also ate twice, very cheap, on a, well, not exactly like fast food, but a small wooden shacks that sell meatballs or stuff like this next to the road, and the prices, as I told you, were very cheap. Today I think that I'm gonna spend a little bit less even, because the kilometers, the total mileage for today is 400 and something kilometers, and will bring me to the end of Bosnia, very close to Croatian border. And over there I already found one guest house for 21 euros, private room. I still haven't booked it. I will do it after 1 hour when I get closer. But if I include this guest house as well, it will cost me the whole day probably around 70 euros. 70 euros. I still haven't eaten. Now it's, what time it is? 1 o'clock. But I'm still not hungry, because the breakfast was very solid. So yeah, tomorrow I'll be in Croatia, and the prices will rise a bit. I will estimate with around 20%, which means that a day in Croatia will cost me a little bit under 100 euros. And when I say a day, I mean everything. petrol, food and accommodation. If I continue traveling to western part like Austria, Germany and stuff like that, it will rise probably another 10%. And we can say right now at the moment that 100 euros are more or less a stable base to calculate if you want to travel around Europe at the moment. Of course, if you plan to stop at every expensive and fancy restaurant and eat a meal, they are not going to be enough. If you plan to sleep in expensive hotels, of course they are not going to be enough. What I'm telling you now is just the budget way of traveling. And by the way, the hostel that I had yesterday was perfect. Room large enough with 2 beds. I paid of course only for one, but I was alone. And we'll see what will be tomorrow. Also they had a parking for my motorcycle, which is a big plus, and I will have a parking for tonight as well. So the motorcycle was not staying on the street. It was just safely parked right in front of my window, by the way. I'm not so sure about this road, but this is what the GPS said. Google Maps actually. And by the way, I'm using this Carpuride device. Works fantastic today because I choose to go through many villages and small towns, stuff like that. I use it basically all day, and still haven't used even 30% of the battery of my telephone. But I don't listen music, I don't use the rest of the things, just Google Maps. And so far so good. You can see the visibility even in a bright light. Very good. So this is a real test in travel conditions, but the serious test will be made during my trip to Central Asia. I hope that this road will bring me somewhere finally, but I start to doubt a little bit. Maybe it's time to stop and check on the map where exactly it goes. Now, is it possible to travel cheap around Europe at the moment? Yes, absolutely. But for that purpose, you have to be a little bit organized. You have to make a plan in advance. You have to have all of this in mind. For example, from my place Varna to the place I am going are around 1,500 kilometers. I understand that I can make it for 2 days if I push a little bit harder. Some people might make it even for 1 day, but considering the weather conditions at the moment, yesterday almost all day was rain, today is fine. Considering the temperature between 8 and 12 degrees, I decided to make it on 3 different stages instead of 1. This was all part of the preparation that I have done in advance. When you know all of this, when you split your time, when you do your preparation, you can estimate and calculate the best possible way. And of course this will not only save you money, but will make the trip safe and pleasant. Because I cannot imagine what will be to ride, actually I can, because I have done it a number of times, what will be to ride 700 or 800 kilometers in the rain. Then will be smashed during the evening, you might get sick, anything. That's why a proper organization, it's a must. Plan in advance. And let me see now where I'm going. I'm going here left. 1.8 kilometers. Okay. That's why I always said that you need to have all of these things in advance. And actually I talked a lot about all of these things, organizations, plans in advance, how to be flexible, how to be organize, how to predict everything in advance on my online course, Adventure Riding Without Illusions. You can find a link in the description down below. So it looks like this will be my road for now. I hope that this video will be beneficial to at least one person. Press like or dislike, whatever it deserves. If you subscribe, even better. See you in the next one. Ciao.